So from the sheep pasture again this morning, and we're going to be here for the next couple weeks doing we're still sunrise videos, just not maybe necessarily at sunrise. I'll announce which time we're going to do it each time. So a lot's happened this week, a whole lot. Some miracles, some sad things, some learning opportunities for me. And so last Tuesday when we met, I said that all of them were still pregnant and we were in the waiting game. We're not in the waiting game anymore. So Wednesday, my first ewe delivered, and some crazy thing happened that I it's just crazy. So I watched her. I watched her from a distance because they like to have a little bit of space. And she had one baby come out, two babies. And then I'm like, God, is she having a third? I think she is. And really, you don't want triplets, right? Because triplets are really hard for you to feed because they only have two teats. So it's, they're always fighting for resources, the two babies. So twins are ideal. And I was like, I hope it wasn't triplets. Maybe I just didn't see it right. But I go over afterwards to, to gather her babies up, and darn if there weren't triplets. And so I'm like, all right. So I get my little wagon that I put them in, and I take them into what's called a lambing jug, which I'll show you in a little bit. And I'm getting ready to take her in, and I look at her, and there is another foot hanging out of the back end of her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's having quads. This is crazy. Because it's less than, I think less than 2% of all sheep births are quads. So, and she ended up having quads. One of them, or three of them were really nice sized. One of them was just tiny, like a pound. Usually they're about 8 pounds when they're born. And, so I ended up, that one became a bottle baby. She is now living in my bathroom. She is thriving, and I'll have some news about her later this week. So, but she's doing really great, besides giving me lack of sleep. Then I had a set of twins, which she should come over here in a little bit. I don't know where she's, if not, I'll go over and you can see her babies. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then my third ewe delivered yesterday morning. Shocking above shocking, she had quads. So this is like, you have something that's so rare, and 2 out of my 3 births have been quads. Now, unfortunately, I got out there about 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. They were still just born. And I guess she was very busy having the babies, and so she didn't clean the membrane off of one of them. And so he suffocated and he died. So I did try to resuscitate him, which is... it's not CPR, but basically you take them and you swing them between your legs to try to clear the air fluids. I mean, obviously I removed the membrane as well. And he was he was very dead. I mean, it wasn't anything that I could revive. So unfortunately he died. And then I went through a thing where she's been a great mom, but she would not let them nurse. So I had a really tough time with that, because if she doesn't nurse them in that first couple hours, we have a problem. So I had to do something that I had never done, although I've watched a bunch of videos on it and everything else. I had to tube feed them. And I was really nervous because, putting this tube down their throat, there's a risk that you're going to actually put the tube down their lung instead. And certainly you don't want to be pouring milk down their lung. Obviously you can see how that would be a problem. But I did good. I actually tube fed all 3 of them. I was very nervous, but that's one of those things, you have to do it, and you just have to try. I mean, there's just no way around it. The consequences are bad either way, so you just, buck up and make it happen. So I did. And then by the afternoon, the evening, she was actually letting them nurse. Everything's going fine there, and we're going to walk over there and take a look at them and the other babies. I'm not going to go in and see the other quads, just because it's too far, but we're going to go ahead and take a little walk. And by the way, if anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to post them in the comments, and I'll answer them while we're live, or I will actually answer them later too in the comments if we're not live any longer. So let's take a little walk. Let's see what we got to see here. The babies are adorable. I mean, they're really nice babies. So let's take a look. So these are the girls that are still due. Esther, the one right there, she's next up, hopefully, or she's supposed to be. And then Buttercup, who's not out here, she's the next one after that. So let's take a look at these little babies in here. The first set is Greta's, and she had 2 little babies, which I just named this week. This year were the A's. So that is April right there, the one with the little white spots on her side, and behind her, we'll get a better picture of her in a little bit, is Apple. And if anybody has any A names, girl names, that you would like to suggest, feel free to post those in the comments too. I'd love to hear your A suggestions. The boys will not get names, they will get numbers. So they've been named so far 4, 5, and 6. So, and the reason for that is because they are pretty much slotted for meat. And so because of that, I don't name them. It just makes it harder. Zoom back out again. Waiting for Flora to have her babies. You see she looks way more comfortable. Still in pretty decent condition considering that she just had a bunch of babies. This is the little teeny ewe. And behind her are there's a ewe. The little spotted one is a ewe, which is a girl. And then back there, there's a little ram. I might have that backwards. That might be the ewe and that might be the ram. But there's 2 white ones, and one's a ewe and one is a ram. But they're doing pretty well. I might give them a little more colostrum today just to make sure, because it's a lot of animals for her to feed. So she's in what's called a jug. And the jug is just basically a little apartment for her that she's going to stay locked up in for a couple days, just to make sure that she's getting extra nutrition. She has time to bond with her babies. Her babies have a chance to know who their mama is, so that when I let them out into the flock and she yells for them, they know who each other are, and there's no confusion. So, but Flora is immensely, way more comfortable than she was before. And let's see if we can see these little babies out here. Oh, yep, there they are. They're out there now again. So we'll take a look at those. They're cute. They run around now and hop, and they went out into the flock yesterday. Last night was their first night out in the flock all night, and they did great, even though it was raining and everything else. They're nibbling on things already. They were just born Wednesday, and they're already nibbling on things. Now, they're not really eating it, but they'll start nibbling on grass and hay and grain or anything else. So you'll just notice one thing. So you'll see that April just walked up to Bonnie, and Bonnie gave her a little headbutt. It's not terribly mean. They're not like really beating them up. But what they're trying to do, hello Bonnie, is they're being little bandits. They're going, hey, there's an udder. I'd like to have some of that. And Bonnie says, no, I'm saving that for my babies. And so she'll butt them away. Every mom will butt away the babies that don't belong to them. And if they get too aggressive, the mom will actually headbutt the mom who's butting her baby. So they got to sit down. And I got to tell you, last year when I first started doing this, it freaked me out. But I think I understand a little bit better now. And it all works out fine. So, all right, well, if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Otherwise, we're probably going to sign off. It's been an eventful week. It's been so far so good. We've had 9 lives. Insane. You'll hear sheep farmers talking about multiples, like what their multiple is. I was a very aggressive multiple of 1.8. I thought that would be like, oh my gosh, if I got 1.8, wouldn't that be great? And right now I'm at 3.0. Now, that won't last because I have some first-time moms who will probably only have singles, and so we'll go down, but still quite phenomenal that we're at that rate right now. It's crazy, unheard of. But everybody's doing great, and so I thank you guys for joining us and taking a look at the lamb field this morning. And probably by next week we're going to have some more out here. We'll see. But stay tuned. See you later.